So I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and the idea came to me quite a few weeks ago, but I just never got around to putting into practice. And that is, I want to make a stealthed, blacked out Game Boy Advance. And what I mean by that is, obviously, I've got a purple or indigo Game Boy Advance here, or the shell of it. But what I've purchased is the black buttons, so the shoulder buttons, the bumpers, A, B, D-pad, power switch, and so on. I've also got the silicone inserts and the black start and select, so that's not left grey. And then also for the lens, this is just a no logo Game Boy Advance lens. Pretty bog standard, and obviously there will be a screen underneath it when it's all put together. Then I'm going to be spraying it black, because obviously the blacked out look needs to be complete, and you wouldn't have a purple shell. But then I'm going to take it one step further, and obviously before I paint this, what I'm going to do, and bear with me, because I have no idea how this will look in the end, but I'm going to go for it anyway, because I've got tons of these shells lying around. What I'm going to do is, for the shell here, you've got the logo Nintendo at the top, you've got the power, or the word power, which is like raised, you've got a hole for the power LED light pipe, you've got this speaker grill, the start and select has obviously text and it's recessed in, and really, I think that's it for the front. What I'm going to do is use body filler and fill those in, so there's no speaker grill, the start and select is literally just the round holes. There's going to be no power LED, there's going to be no Nintendo logo at the top there. Now that's the front part of the shell, which actually seems relatively straightforward. All I need to do is fill in these areas, fill in that speaker grill, fill in the Nintendo logo, and fill in the hole. The power, which is like recessed literally millimeters, if not less than that, above the shell itself, that'll probably just need sanding down and taking off, but obviously I'm going to try it. And then I was thinking for the rest of the shell, on the back there's not a lot you can do. You need these holes for the screws. I mean, you don't need all 6. I could just do the top and the bottom ones, or I could just do the top, but I think I'll probably leave them as is. The Game Boy logo on the battery cover I'm not too bothered about. So for that, the actual back, not a lot to be done. Where I might take it a step further is when the shell's together, you've obviously got down here, it says phones and volume, and it says on off there. There is kind of a part of me wanting to fill them in as well, but I think that's going to be a lot more difficult than I ideally want to make this project. So I think the focus would be the top shell. Everything's going to be spray painted black anyway, so if in the future I wanted to, say, fill this in so it was a bit more flush and fit with the body, then I can. Same over here with the volume and the word volume and phones. I could easily go over those at a later date. So that's the plan. How well this is going to turn out, I have no idea. I'm just going to go for it. So I'm going to start off by trying to sand the power word off of, so you can see there, I don't think the camera will pick it up, but you can, oh yeah, you can see it's raised. It's going to be probably quite difficult to get that off and not have it completely flat, but I'm going to go ahead and try anyway. Now I've got this is great, this is 2000 grit, so this is like very, very, very fine. This will obviously take a long time to do. So I'm just going to start off with fine grit for now, see how it goes, and it might be that I have to go down and get something a bit more coarse to really take off the plastic, but we'll see. can still see and make the word out, but it's definitely, yeah, a lot more flush. So I'm going to keep going. And it's interesting, this isn't obviously completely flat surface, but you can see where it started to rub on the edges, here, and then here. And you can see the areas where it still hasn't touched yet with the sandpaper. So I think I might keep going with this method, and just, that should level most things out, to be honest. So, yeah, so that's fine. So I think what I'll do is I'll get that larger piece of finer grits. This is 2000 grit, and I'm just going to go just in a circular motion and just try and smooth out some of that, just to make it a bit smoother for the final product. Still a few areas you can see, so I might keep going with this actually until we get a nice uniform matte looking finish. Right, so I think I'm happy with this so far. There's a few areas that still have like that kind of orange peel effect from the original plastic, but I'm really not that fussed at this stage. I've got rid of the power, the word power. So the only thing left to do now, and I suppose once I put this filler in to some of the areas and I sand it back, I'll probably end up sanding the surrounding areas anyway. So a little bit of filler for the hole, filler for the Nintendo logo. But before I do that, actually, oh, and the speaker grill. Before I do that, I need to figure out how I'm going to keep these holes. So what I could do, I think if I get like an old start select. So I've got here some pretty disgusting looking start and select, but I think the idea is if I push them through, so place them in, and then what I can do is body filler pretty much all around it while that's in place, right up against it, and then as I remove that, once the body filler's dried, it should then leave, well, there shouldn't be any inside, and if there is, I could always use a circular file, and that should get rid of anything that drips in there. So I think that'll stay on. I don't think that's going to move. But yeah, let's get the body filler out. Okay, so my main camera died, but you can just see I've pretty much caked it on. It's not gonna be the best, but yeah, filled up with loads of it, because what you don't want to do is sand it down and find out there wasn't enough to fill in the areas. So we'll come back to this in 20 minutes. Right, okay, so hopefully, I know I didn't record a lot of the process behind painting and priming, spraying primer on the shell to do the painting. I know I didn't get it properly on video, but it's quite difficult given my situation, but we're here. Spray painted. I am pretty happy with the way the spray paint's turned out. I do need to check to see if this type of spray paint needs some kind of like clear coat or something on it to protect it, but I'm not entirely sure. But here's a quick close-up of the kind of finish that this has come out with. So it's a very textured finish. You can see there's basically like an orange peel is what you would call it if you were spray painting cars or whatever. And to be honest, that's the texture I was going for. I didn't really want this smooth finish because I wasn't ever going to be able to get that given the tools I have and the type of paint I had as well. So I suppose it's time to start putting it together. I did put some tape down over here so I didn't have the paint cause like a ridge when obviously I put the new lens on. So hopefully this comes off and doesn't peel any of the paint with it that's on the actual shell, because obviously all this will be covered up with the lens. If you're still watching this thinking why and questioning why, I suppose we're about to find out soon. I think that pulled it a little bit there, some of the paint. But even I kind of sometimes sit back and think, is this actually going to come out looking even half decent? But I suppose we'll find out soon enough. So I think it's actually pulled a bit of the paint off in that top corner. I'm just going to check this. Yeah, it's pulled it off. So I think what I'll probably do is just find, if I got like a marker pen, like a black permanent marker, and just go over that. But I'm not going to bother spraying that again just for the sake of it. So let's get the lens on. So it's got a 3M tape backing. And then remove that. Okay, that's it. Obviously it's got a shine to it. I wonder if there's any on the market that don't have a shine on the front, like a dull finish, but obviously it doesn't matter too much. Right, so let's get, what next? Obviously we need the board in. So I've just taken this one from a previous IPS build because I only have one more screen and, well, I just wanted to use it for this one. So obviously the speaker might have to be at some later date kind of adjusted or fixed or put in a different position because obviously it doesn't have much use being covered up. So we may have to come up with a solution to get some sort of decent sound out of it. But anyway, need the silicone and the buttons in before that goes down. Start select, let's get that in. There we go. Okay, let's get the screws back in. Just double check the buttons are in place. Yep. So obviously now we've got to put together the shoulder buttons, and then the bumpers will go in, and then the power switch, and then we can put it all together and get it booted up. And the bumper with the wrist strap loop in it. And the power switch. Let's get the back back on. Put it all together. And then get some screws in. There we go. It's dropped into place. And this is the finished product, so let's see if it was all worth it. Yeah, you're going to see that in the top corner because I didn't take the protective layer off. So black buttons, I think you might pick it up. It picks it up on the camera, but not in real life as much. The inner part there probably needs to be sprayed or filled in black, and then inside the cartridge slot. And you can see down in there through the lens, but let's just turn it on. Yeah, that's my little project that I had for a kind of week or so. Most of the time was spent waiting for the primer to dry, then another layer, then the primer to dry, then another layer, and then the same with the paint, just letting it dry and letting it harden. But that is my Stealth blacked out Game Boy Advance, Stealthboy Advance. I don't really know for what to name it, but yeah, it was just a little project of mine. I hope you kind of enjoyed the video and maybe somehow find it in your heart to like the outcome. It kind of just looks like a fake Game Boy Advance that just doesn't have the Nintendo logo on to avoid copyright, but that little corner bit is annoying me, so I'm going to find a Sharpie or something in a second and fill that in to really finish it off. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.